Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're just gonna go over a few simple keyboard shortcuts that will really help make your workflow a lot smoother and easier when building and stuff like that. So the first one we can start with that I'm actually using right now is the G shortcut. So if I hit that, you can see the whole interface here, and if I remove it, then you can't see it. So this can be very useful if you want to take a screenshot or something, then you just hit G and you just get the screen. So the next shortcut we're gonna look into here is the I shortcut. So if I just press I on my keyboard here, you can see this menu pops up with the multi-selection menu. So that means that I can just click my mouse and drag it over the whole area that I want selected, like that. So now we have selected everything that's in this area, and we also selected this tree, and if you want to remove that, you can just press Ctrl, which will deselect the part you're clicking on. And this can be really useful if you want to move or adjust a very large area with a lot of items. And this brings us to the next shortcut that might be the most important one in the entire game basically. So that is the X button. So when I press that, you see this menu pop up over here, and you can just drag the entire selection up, you can move it to the sides, and now if you press X one more time, you're able to rotate it. And I'm gonna give a better example of this. So if I just right click now, then you can see everything goes back to where it was. So a better example of how to use the X key would be here. If I press this group and then I click the X button, so I want it to be centered here. Like you can see, it's way off to the side, and I just want it to be in the middle here. So this is a very easy way to just adjust things very easily. And what you can also do is press X one more time, and that will bring up this menu, which will allow you to control all of the axes. So right now I have the angle snap on 15 degrees. So if I were to rotate it this way, it would be this kind of choppy movement because it rotates at exactly 15 degrees for each time it rotates. So if I turn that off, then we have this very smooth rotation that makes it a lot easier to control. And this works for every single direction, so you get a lot of freedom with this. We also have the set key, which if I hold it down, we're able to rotate it smoothly, but if I just click it once, then it will rotate 90 degrees. So this can be a lot quicker than using the advanced movement with the X button, but with this you can only rotate it on this particular axis. So the next shortcut we're going to be talking about is basically a substitute for clicking the button right here, which is the M key. So if I press M here, then we're able to move it wherever we want it to be. And let's say I wanted to move it over to the ground level down here, then I would hold down the Shift key, which will allow me to raise and sink it very freely. So then we could just place it there if we wanted to do that, but I don't want to do that. But say I wanted to duplicate this board and put it down on the ground path instead, then I could hold down Control and click X and then click M, and then we would have a duplicate that we can place over here instead. And then I again use the Shift key to place it where I would want it to be, like that. And what's important to note here is that once you place that, it will just give you another duplicate. So it will continue to duplicate until you eventually right click the mouse and then it disappears. And so if you have something in a group, which I do here, it's not a group that makes sense because this roofing here is connected to these buildings that's just kind of floating over here. But if I were to press R, that would automatically open the group section menu, which means we can now just drag our mouse across a specific part of the group. And then because this whole group doesn't really make sense, like with the roof here and the buildings here, I could just split the selection from the group, or I could just stay in the group and then press M to move them and hold Shift to place them where I would want them to be. So we're quickly just going to look into some easy path shortcuts that are very useful to know. Like for instance, the U button, which means we get this slope, or twice we get this staircase. The J button is the opposite, which means if we press once, we go down one step, and then one more, we get the flat surface again. And then we can keep going, and it works the same way as the U button, but we get it downwards instead. The U for up and J for down. I'm not going to talk too much about the pathing system in this video just because I already have a whole tutorial on that, so please check that out if you want some more details on how the pathing system works. So now we're gonna look into a shortcut that isn't really essential to know, but it can be very useful. So if I wanted to place this tree somewhere along here, then you can see it wouldn't really adjust to the terrain. It would just gonna stay in the same position. But if I then press the V button on my keyboard, that will turn on the adjust to surface function, which means it'll sort of just adjust itself to the terrain. And sometimes that can help making things look a lot more natural, like it kind of grows with the environment. And then if I wanted to turn it off, then I would just press the V key again and we're back to it staying in the same position. You could just go to the menu here and click it there, but it is a lot easier to just press the V key. So that's really it for this video. I'm gonna put all the shortcuts on the screen here so that you can just take a screenshot of it if you need some help to remember what I went over. So I really hope this video was useful for you in some way. If it was, then please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. I post tutorials every Tuesday and gameplay every Friday. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye!